I'm a tower of strength. Don't lean too much on me. We're looking into the future. Oh, don't build your dreams too high. I beg you to remember, I'm just an ordinary guy. I ain't no miracle worker. I do the best that I can. I ain't no miracle worker. Oh Lord, I ain't no miracle man. And I don't have a fortune. You know I sweat for each dime I make. But I'm always in there just looking to get that lucky break. Every day I keep on trying to do my best for you. And if time just ain't enough, baby, well tell me what would you have me do? I ain't no miracle.
Oops.
I do the best that I can. I ain't no miracle worker. Oh Lord, I ain't no miracle man. Ask me to be tender. Ask me to be true. Ask me for all the love I have, and girl, I'll give it all to you. But girl, I just can't offer a little story of romance. Oh, that's what you're looking for, babe. I tell you, we just don't have a chance. I ain't no miracle worker.
Good morning, everybody.
I do the best that I can. I ain't no miracle worker.
We're just gonna have some background music today. Well, we do every day. I'm gonna turn it down a little.
Take me for what I am. No, I ain't no miracle man. Oh, I ain't no miracle.
I'm not sure, but I may have done this CD already.
I ain't no miracle man.
It's just Garage, Volume 1.
Oh, I'm just an ordinary man. No, I ain't no miracle man.
I'm pretty sure it's one of my customs. Not my dad's. Anyways, guys. I'm still wet from my shower. It's a good song, too. Next time. So, you guys have been giving me some real nice comments about my stories. So I figured I'd tell you one. Just a big one. Might take a little while. That's why I have my huge Punto Doro 310 that Mel gave me. A lot of thumbs down had to happen for this pipe. I've been trying to record the booms, we call them here in the house. They come from Camp Pendleton. I caught one on video, but it's not nearly as impressive as when there's like 20 minutes of it. But every time I hit record, they stop. So anyways, I'm a wild man. When I was 18 years old, I believe I was 18. I'm pretty darn sure I was 18. Because I just had started college, community college, taking art classes. Could have been 19. There's a possibility I decided to take a year off, Mom, you know. I just got out of high school. Shit, Mom. I want to take a year off. But I think I was 18. And I was already well on my way to being covered in tattoos. I had blue hair, no mohawk, just some unruly blue, bright, shocking blue hair. And one day I got a call from a guy I hadn't heard from in 2 years or so. A friend of mine from when I was in high school. A guy, I think he's 8 years older than me. So he was always an older friend when I was a kid. And he's got a travel bug. And he's the same guy I went to Europe with. That's a whole nother story. He really failed that trip and dragged me down with him. But he called me one morning and he was like, "Hey, Sean, what's up, dude?" He said, "Matt, I haven't seen you in a long time. I have something to ask you." I was like, "Sure, man, what's up?" He said, "Well, I'm planning this really crazy trip to Mexico. Sean's always looking for a wife." He's a kooky guy. And a serious drunk. But he made it through this trip without a drop. I'll give him that. This time. He said, "You know, I'm scared of flying. I don't fly anywhere. And I want to go to Mexico City." He said, "The only way to do that is to drive or take a train." I don't remember the distance exactly, but it's like 1,400 kilometers, 1,500 kilometers, something like that. From El Paso to Mexico City. Actually, it's Juarez, right? I was in your town, Mel. First of all, Sean said, "Look, man, I don't like to fly. I'm scared to death. The trains in Mexico are crazy. There's like farm animals running around on them. There's shootings on them. There's rebels that will attack trains in the desert, knock them off the tracks, and massacre all the people." So, "Do you want to go?" I said, "Hell yeah." He said, "I know I haven't talked to you in a while, but you're the only person I know that would be crazy enough to do this." He said, "We're going to be gone a couple months." He said, "Do you have any affairs to take care of?" I said, "Well, I just started college. I've been going to college for like 5 weeks." He said, just a few little art classes. And we went. Potato chip. Whoa. Shadows of night. So I went. And we, I believe, got on a train in Fullerton at Fullerton Station, where I saw Burke Devlin do a video the other day. He likes trains. If you don't know Burke Devlin, go check him out. He's named after a Dark Shadows character, and I was proud that I knew that. Burke Devlin. So, got on the train in Fullerton, went to Union Station in LA. And headed for Texas. You know, which you gotta go through Arizona and New Mexico, and bam, you're in El Paso, Texas. It's kind of like an overnight trip. But Sean had money. He had dead relatives and real estate. family had some money. Not like filthy rich, but they had some money. And he certainly did not work for it. He was always studying to be a travel agent, but, you know, one of those things. But he was an accomplished traveler. And he'd been many places before this trip. And I think he wished he would have took me. But he thought of me this trip. Another guy wanted to come meet us. He refused to take the train. So he flew and met us in Mexico City. Now, I don't know if you guys know about Juarez, Mexico. Mel. You know, I was only in El Paso a couple hours. I've been there a couple times. Usually passing through on the train. But, we took a taxi over the border into Juarez. And that's the first time I've crossed international lines. It would be the first of many, many, many trips to Mexico. But, we got down there and we got to the train station in Juarez, and I was just a little culture shocked. And, you know, it really struck me all of a sudden that, man, I am covered in strange tattoos and have bright blue hair, and I'm 18 years old. And, people are looking at me. Oh, man, I had a guy in a train station, like you, Scarecrow Piper. I used to wear skulls and crosses and snakes and all that all over my fingers. Big, you know, silver ones. I was all geared up. Spikes, straps, you know, I have chains, handcuffs, whatever. Couldn't even get on a train with all that stuff these days. But, I had a guy there approach me in the train station. This is my first taste of Mexico. He said, "Oh, senor, you like rings?" I said, "Yeah, I like rings. I got some rings to show you." Sure, let's check them out. He reaches in his pocket and pulls out a handful of gold rings, right? And first thing I tell him is, I don't really do gold. I like silver. "Oh, no, but these are the finest. These are the finest rings." I said, "I could tell by the crust on them." And I said, "No, thank you, man. I don't want any rings today. You know, they are like horseshoes and, you know, stuff that just didn't fit my theme, you know." What happened to my CD? So, here we go. It's Richard of the Young Lions. He said, "You don't understand, friend." He said, "I had to cut the fingers off the people wearing these rings to get them." He said, "It looks like it, bro." I said, "No, thank you." And then Sean comes over. "What's going on, Matt? What's happening here? What's this guy telling you?" "Calm down, Sean." He said, "He wants me to buy one of these rings." He says, "Yes, and you're going to buy one." He said, "If you don't, I know you're getting on this train, and I will call ahead to my friends, and they will come on the train, and they will kill you." He said, "Get out of my face, turkey." Sean was like, oh, which one do you like best, man? Which one do you like best?" I said, "I ain't buying no ring off this freaking jerk-off." Sean bought a ring. And we got on the train. Now, I had heard a few rumors about this train. It's going to be a 52-hour journey from Juarez, Mexico to Mexico City. We were to pass through mostly the state of Chihuahua. The stops, a lot of stops. The story's going to be long already. Zacatecas was the cool stop. But off we went into the deserts and into some jungle and into some really beautiful landscape, actually, but mostly desert. And every now and then we'd roll up to a little village or a little town. Sometimes a little bit larger town, but mostly just little villages. And I mean, you know, the kind with the cardboard neighborhoods, you know, and houses made out of tires and, you know, gator board and stuff. I remember seeing puddles on the ground of fluorescent green water. Like fast food guacamole. Remember that old fast food guacamole that come in a gallon jug and they would pour it on your taquitos in the 80s? Like that. I did play the CD before, and I was wondering what this woman's name is, and I remembered it. Joanna Galt. I love her little voice. Joanna, G-A-U-L-T, Galt. She's British. She had a little Patsy thing going on. Anyways, we found our seats on the train, which are straight. No reclining, no nothing. They're just a bench for 2 people, each seat. Very narrow little walkway in the middle. You could bring whatever you want on the train to eat or drink, which I found out shortly after. The only thing you could buy to eat on the train was Tecate beer, Jarritos, orange soda, naranja, and these like ham bologna sandwiches, like county jail sandwiches, but they had a big pepper in the middle of them. And that's it. Saran wrap, sweaty little sandwich. That's all you could buy. Until you pass through these little villages of little children splashing around in fluorescent guacamole water. Now each little town, someone would get on the train. Some little lady would come on the train with treats. Homemade candy. I ate lizard tacos on that train. Homemade. Pretty good. Oh, I didn't tell you I like to eat weird stuff, guys. I used to. I'm not that into it now. One time, Sean said, I'll take you to Mexico if you go down there and eat cabeza de cabra. Goat head. I ate a goat head, guys. And locusts that day. So, we find our seat, we're hanging out, and, you know, people are just like, what the hell are these guys doing on this train? You know, 2 white dudes on a train only with Mexican people on it. Not English-speaking Mexican people either. They were really nice. I had taken Spanish 1 in high school, so I had a tiny bit of basics. Sean was all about learning the language, so he's always practicing. And I got to a lot of practice on the train with a group of guys that were really funny. And we had a bunch of cigars, actually. Sean liked cigars. So we shared them with these guys. And we had a really fun time. Now, after a few hours of that, I was sitting in my seat relaxing, and there was a gentleman with a pompadour, slicked back, sitting in the seat in front of me. And he had a big 2-liter of Sprite. And I don't know how we ended up in conversation, but he spoke English. And I decided that, yes, I think I will be friends with this guy, just because he speaks English. And we started talking. He said he was a criminal being deported from the United States. Which, you know, there's a load of those guys every day at the border. Here, anyway. I don't know about in El Paso, but... And I was like, oh, interesting. Okay, cool. What'd you do? You know, I don't really remember what he did or if he told me. But he reached into his bag and pulled out, bam, another 2-liter of Sprite. And it turned out these 2 liters of Sprite were loaded with tequila. Tequila and Sprite. I started pounding it. I got pretty trash with this guy, and we had a pretty good time. So, you know, we go do our thing. He goes, does his thing. We're all stuck on this train. You know, we're on the rear car of the train, you know. And all you have to do is step out the back door. There's a little back porch on the train, you know. You can smoke your cigarette. Your cigars with your friends, whatever. And there was what amounted to kind of a little dining car. Even though all they had was those sandwiches and those couple drinks I told you. And there's the bathroom over there, which, whew. Bad bathroom, guys, bad bathroom. And there's this huge, in between cars, where the bathroom was, there's this huge painted blue wooden crate with a padlock on it. That's where the poop goes. And I watched 2 days in a row as they unpadlocked that thing, opened it up, and just tipped it out the train. And watched all this poop and pee fly by the train with a whoosh. I also saw a guy playing a game where you stick your arm out the train and move it back drunkenly before the little pole goes by. He cracked his hand. Totally broke it. He had to get off the next stop. He was screaming for about 25 minutes till we got to the next stop. And his wife looked pissed. So, to the dining car, blah, blah, blah. You know, we're going through our day. It's a lot of hours we're trying to kill on this train. And, I'm drunk. Dude is drunk. Sean's sober. Way to go, Sean. And he didn't like this guy I was talking to. And I like to dismiss Sean because he's wacky and crazy and paranoid, but sometimes he was right. I was hanging out with the wrong person. So, sitting in my seat, reading some Hunter S. Thompson, I believe. And dude sitting in the seat in front of me. Sean's next to the window. I've got an aisle seat. What happened this time? Was that the whole CD? I guess it was. No, it wasn't. A song about the Incredible Hulk. Nobody loves the Hulk except that you or me. Don't allow no green-skinned people in here. So we were all just minding our own business on the train. Choo-choo. And there are chickens running around on the train. Mostly families. A lot of women taking their children places. There is bullet holes in the windows. And, you know, we got the newspaper. And sure enough, on the front page was a picture of a little train in the middle of nowhere, tipped over with bodies surrounding it. The rebels. They call them the rebels. Hope the rebels don't come rob the train. Sometimes they let the people live, but not usually. If anyone lived, it wasn't going to be this punk rocker on the train. Okay. Two guys decided to come back to our car. Now, these guys were straight out of a movie, even a cartoon. A short, fat kind of one, and a real big one. Real big guy with huge hands. You know, comes lumbering behind his friend down the aisle of this train. And the little, short, stout guy, his face is red. Beet red, and he looked pissed. And he comes storming down the aisle. And, you know, we're on the last car of the train, so it's like, where are these guys going? They walked up to the seat in front of me, and both guys reached over whoever was in the seat in front of him, and just started pounding on this guy. Pounding on this guy. And we're just in our seats like, whoa! And, I started to get up. And Sean was like, man, sit down. I was like, but yeah, this guy's getting jumped. He's like, sit the hell down. And there was blood hitting the windows. We had blood on our shirts. And I remember Sean had to throw away his orange soda because he thought blood fell on it. I don't know if it did or not. They beat this guy pretty good. And they walked away. The dude was in his seat like this, sniffling, crying. You could see there was cuts on his head and he was bleeding a little bit. And I was like, damn. I was like, here, man, you know, wipe yourself up, clean yourself up, man. Why did that happen, man? I don't know. Okay. He didn't want to talk about it. And so we continued our journey. Well, it was maybe a half hour later. The door between cars opened, and there they were again. And this time, let me not forget about the screaming women and children during all that. It was chaos in that train. And, they came back again. And they beat him up again. Maybe not as badly the second time. They left again. They came back a third time. And this time they wanted to talk. And they started talking in Spanish to this guy real fast. You know, like Ricky Ricardo. And, you know, I knew a little Spanish, but even the Spanish I know now, they were talking fast and aggressive and angry, and you know, it wasn't California Spanish. It was way down in the desert Mexico Spanish. A little bit different. A little bit. So, dude looks back at me from his seat with his big swollen black eyes. You know, he's got little bloods on his head. He's all scraped up. And he starts talking back at them. And he starts pointing at me. And I heard him say the word cramps and tattoo. The Cramps. Which is my second favorite band of all time. His tattoos got me in some situations, good and bad. Got me a job at a porno store. I'll tell you guys that story someday, maybe. When I was 18 also. 18 was the action-packed year. Put way too much tobacco in this bowl. So anyways, this is what happened. These guys had a pack of cigarettes and some pesos on a counter in that dining car, which was just a counter. No chair, nowhere to sit. Just buy a sandwich or a soda or a beer. They set their stuff down and somebody swiped it. And apparently they suspected this guy. And he was blaming it on me. The only, well, besides Sean, the only white dude on the train, a kid with blue hair, and the guy that belonged to a gang in California called the Cramps. That was my gang, guys. I found this all out after the fact. These guys looked at me. And the big guy was real quiet. And he was calm. Violent, but calm. They're like cowboy dudes. Big hats, big belts, big boots. Well, this guy got in my face. Short, stout one. Bright red face. Started yelling at me. I was like, I don't know what you're saying, man. But I see what happens when you sit in your seat and don't do nothing. So I stood up. Sean was fucking horrified. Excuse me. I was like, what, man? You know, what the fuck are you saying to me? Sorry. Sorry, guys. That's when the big guy started whispering. I had no idea what he was saying. Then I heard the guy, the short one, pistola! Click! And I looked down, and at his side, he had the hugest, longest Cowboy Days revolver I've ever seen. And he lifted that thing up and touched it right here into my forehead. And I thought I was dead. Dead in the desert. Me and Sean dumped. No one would ever know. No one would ever know what happened to us. The big guy grabbed the pistol like this and moved it away from my head. He said, and he started pointing at dude. He knew it wasn't me. He said, first of all the dudes I smoked cigars with jumped up and they were behind me too. That made me a little braver. And they, in Spanish, kind of said, nah, man. This guy's full of shit. This guy's okay. Look what I got, guys. Time to make a wish. I'm glad I made friends with those guys earlier. But, you know, this drunk, red-faced man just wanted to fight. And just wanted to pull that trigger, you know, one way or another. The big guy pushed his little friend aside. Said, "Hey, my friend," in English to me. He said, "Let me have a cigarette." And I reached in my pocket. I pulled out a Marlboro Red pack. And as soon as I did that, he said, it's okay. I don't want it. I put it back in my pocket. They looked back at dude. Bam! 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 Beat this guy. And I still didn't know what was going on, what he told these guys, you know. I still wanted to help him. I wanted to help the guy. So I got up, and as soon as I did, both guys were like, "Oh, you want to help him? Go ahead. We were going to let you go, but come on." So I get up, and so do all my new Mexican compadres behind me. And we all tackled these guys. Like 8 of us. And we got him to the rear. Oh, first of all, I forgot to tell you this part. They grabbed dude by the hair and pulled him out of his seat, still beating on him. Bam, bam. Pulled him to the rear of our train car, which is the back of the train, and we're gonna just fold him over the little gate and dump him into the desert. That's when we all hopped on. And I didn't hold him down like 5 of the dudes did. And they were drunk too. Everyone was drunk except Sean. How about that shit? Excuse my language again. Anyways, they held him down, and I don't know what happened to the pistol. At the next town, the police came on board the train, handcuffed the guys, and took them off the train, and uncuffed them. And as the train rolled out of this little town, they were throwing rocks through the windows. And we had no windows that night in our train car. Pretty crazy, huh? So, "52 hours. Not long after that, I met a couple traveling. It was a Mexican guy and his white American. They were American, but he was a Mexican American. He was going home or something, and he had his white American wife with him. And that's when I saw this one guy break his hand on the outside of the train. But I was very relieved to find some Americans that spoke English on that train, and I kind of stuck by them the rest of that trip. If you can not blame me. And that was before I even got there. We got to Mexico City safely. I don't know about soundly, but safely. And we had a great 2 months. A month, 3 weeks. Maybe it was more like 3 weeks in Mexico City. And almost 3 weeks in Acapulco. And I'd say it was about 2 months altogether with all our traveling and stuff. We also took a train to Acapulco, or we took a bus to Acapulco from Mexico City. And we took a bus back to Mexico City, and we took a different train home that went through Monterrey and to Nuevo Laredo. And there we crossed the border into Laredo, Texas, and kissed the freaking ground. But we had a lot of fun. I had a girlfriend down there that actually I hung out with in Mexico City and took her to Acapulco with me. And there was 3 of us dudes and 3 girls. And Sean got along with Nahid very well. She was studying to be a lawyer. Very nice girl. She spoke English. And she had 2 friends. She was kind of the leader. There was Kenya, who was a very sweet, nice, and cute girl. And Rich the dumbass, blew it with her. And the other girl, her name was Marina. Oh, Marina. Marina was real pretty. Really, really pretty. And she was a very sweet girl. She spoke no English whatsoever. And her and I had a blast. We had a blast in the pool. We had a blast at the beach. We had a blast at the club. We had a blast in the mechanical bull. We had a blast jumping off of cliffs. We had a blast. And I miss you, Marina. I hope you're doing well, girl. They were from Monterrey. And I could go into the rest of the trip, but we're already 40 minutes deep. This would be I could have a whole playlist of Mexico stories. So. But I figured that story wasn't too lurid. Action-packed. told it many times. It's absolutely true, 100%. The rest of my time in Mexico, I was treated like a rock star with my blue hair and my tattoos. I really was. Everybody was so cool to me. That was the only incident I had that whole 2 months in Mexico. Mexico gets a bad rap. Oh, there's my baby. I'm gonna go get her, okay? You guys take it easy. Viva la Mexico. I love Mexico. I haven't been there in about 10 years, and I've been itching. It's not that safe right now from what I hear, but come on. This is Smurfanelli here. Talk to you guys later. I hope you liked my story.